What happens to water if you heat it? What happens to milk if you leave it out? What happens to matches if you strike them? What happens to brothers if you give them one toy? First conditional. What will happen to the water if you heat it? What will happen if you leave milk out? What will happen if you strike matches? What will happen if you give two brothers one toy? What would happen to the water if you heated it? What would happen if you left milk out? What would happen if you strike matches? What would happen if you gave two brothers one toy? What would have happened to the water if you had heated it? What would have happened if you had left milk out? What would have happened if you had struck matches? What would have happened if you had given two brothers one toy? What would be the state of the water now if you had heated it? What would be the state of the milk now if you had left it out? What would be the state of the matches now if you had struck them? What would the two brothers be doing now if you had given them one toy? What would have happened if you were water? What would have happened if you were milk? What would have happened if you were a match? What would have happened if the two brothers were calm?
Zero, you heat water, it boils. If you leave milk out, it spoils. If you strike matches, they light. If you give two brothers one toy, they fight. If you heat water, it will boil. If you leave milk out, it will spoil. If you strike matches, they will light. If you give two brothers one toy, they will fight. If you heated water, it would boil. If you left milk out, it would spoil. If you struck matches, they would light. If you gave two brothers one toy, they would fight. If you had heated water, it would have boiled. If you had left milk out, it would have spoiled. If you had struck matches, they would have lit. If you had given two brothers one toy, they would have fought. First kind of mixed conditional. If you had heated water, it would be hot now. If you had left milk out, it'd be sour now. If you had struck matches, they would be lit now. If you had given two brothers one toy, they would be fighting now. If I were water, I would have boiled. If you were milk, you would have spoiled. If you were match, you would have lit. If the two brothers were calm, they would not have fought.
If the milk calm, they would not have fought.
If I were water, I would have boiled. If you were milk, you would have spoiled. If you were match, you would have lit. If the two brothers were calm, they would not have fought.